The reality bomb. Why the chase is killing your value. Here is the cold, hard truth that most men are simply too afraid to face. Women chase the men they don't have to work for. We've been fed a massive lie by society, movies, and even our own friends. They tell you that if you just work a little harder, buy a faster car, grow a thicker bank account, or fix your face, you'll finally be enough to keep her attention. But that is the first and most dangerous lie. It's not about the external stuff, it's about something much deeper. It's about your energy, your core confidence, and the subtle behaviors that 99% of men completely overlook. If you are currently grinding just to get a like back, or if you're sweating over whether to send that third follow up text, you have already lost the game. You are operating from a place of scarcity, and women can smell that from a mile away. The men that women actually crave, the ones they stay up at night thinking about, are the ones who don't chase at all. These men don't plead for attention, they don't over explain their actions, and they certainly don't use rehearsed, cheesy lines to get a foot in the door. Instead, they carry an unshakable, calm confidence that acts like a magnetic force. It triggers a primal curiosity in a woman that makes her wonder, why isn't he trying to impress me like everyone else? That curiosity is the spark of real attraction. This isn't about playing childish mind games or pretending to be someone you aren't. It's about a fundamental shift in your identity. It's about mastering the internal traits that make your natural appeal undeniable, long before you even open your mouth to speak. Stop trying too hard. The death of attraction. Most men are under the absolute delusion that attraction is a reward for effort. They think of it like a job. If they put in the overtime, texting first, giving endless compliments, and being extra helpful, they'll eventually earn her love as a paycheck. But attraction doesn't work on a merit system. In fact, it works the exact opposite way. When you try too hard, you are screaming to the world that you are needy and of low value. You are essentially telling her, I don't think my personality is enough, so I have to do all this extra work to keep you interested. Desperation is the ultimate attraction killer because it proves you don't believe in your own worth. Women aren't drawn to the guy who is constantly seeking their approval like a lost puppy. They are drawn to the man who is his own North Star. When you overperform, you are effectively handing her the keys to your self esteem. You're telling her that your mood and your happiness are entirely dependent on how she reacts to you. This is a massive burden for a woman to carry, and it instantly kills the spark. You need to stop right now. Being comfortable in your own skin means having a take it or leave it energy. It means having your own mission, your own standards, and a lifestyle that is so fulfilling that you don't need a woman to validate it. When you stop forcing the interaction and stop trying to make her like you finally create the vacuum she needs to move toward you. By stepping back, you give her the space to actually miss you, to wonder about you, and ultimately to choose to pursue you. True magnetic attraction only happens when you are willing to let go of the steering wheel and let your lifestyle do the talking. The power of strategic unavailability, becoming the rare resource. Being available 24/7 doesn't make you look devoted or nice. It makes you look boring and completely devoid of a life. If you are always just one phone call away, or if you reply to every text within 30 seconds, regardless of the time of day, you aren't showing interest. You're showing that you have nothing better to do. This level of constant accessibility makes you entirely predictable, and predictability is the silent killer of desire. When a woman knows exactly where you are and exactly how you'll react, the mystery is gone. The thrill of the find vanishes. You have to understand that humans naturally place a higher value on things that are scarce. If your time is handed out like flyers on a street corner, it has zero value. But if your time is a limited resource that must be earned, it becomes a prize. Now, let's be clear. This isn't about being cold, acting like a jerk, or ignoring her to be cool. That's amateur hour, and most women see right through it. Strategic unavailability is about having a mission, a real schedule, and actual boundaries that protect your purpose. It's about being so deeply engaged in your own growth, your career, your fitness, your passions, that you simply cannot be at her beck and call. This creates a healthy psychological tension. When she doesn't know every detail of your day, her mind starts to fill in the blanks. She begins to wonder what you're doing and who you're with. That curiosity is the absolute fuel for attraction. If she invites you out at the last minute and you already have plans, even if those plans are just me time or a workout, you have to be man enough to say so. A simple, I'd love to see you, but I've got things handled today, let's do tomorrow, speaks volumes. It's a direct demonstration that your life does not pause for a pretty face. When you respect your own time and your own boundaries, you subconsciously teach her to respect them too. You shift the dynamic from you waiting for her to her making sure she's on your calendar. Confidence versus aesthetics, the silent magnetism of energy. Here is a fact that drives most men crazy. Women chase confidence, not just faces. We've all seen it. The average looking guy walking through a room with a stunning woman on his arm. It isn't a fluke, and it isn't always about his wallet. It's about his energy. You could have the most symmetrical face and the most expensive watch in the world, but if you're slouched over, fidgeting, and scanning the room for someone to tell you you're doing a good job, you will be invisible. On the flip side, a man who walks with a calm, grounded presence and relaxed shoulders will always outclass the model who is anxious for validation. Confidence is the silent magnet that pulls people in before you even open your mouth. It is the primal signal that you are a man of high status and internal stability. True confidence is the ability to exist in any space without needing anyone to tell you that you're good enough. It's the total absence of the need for approval. Most guys spend thousands on designer clothes or hours obsessing over their hair because they're trying to use stuff to cover up a lack of internal worth. But you can't buy the way a man carries himself. When you are genuinely secure in your value, you stop overcompensating. You don't feel the need to brag, you don't feel the need to loud talk, and you certainly don't feel the need to sell yourself to a woman. Women read this internal security instantly. It's etched into your body language and the way you hold eye contact. It is the rarest and most magnetic thing a man can possess because it can't be faked. When you own your space and trust in your own worth, you become a challenge that she wants to figure out. You stop being the guy who is looking for a win and start being the man who is the win. Silence is your greatest weapon, the power of what you don't say. Most men are absolutely terrified of silence. They view a pause in conversation as a failure, so they rush to fill every second with mindless chatter, nervous jokes, or over explaining their life story. They think that by talking more, they are proving how interesting, smart, or successful they are. In reality, they are doing the exact opposite. Constant talking is a loud signal of insecurity. It tells a woman that you are uncomfortable in your own skin and desperate to keep her entertained so she won't leave. When you spill everything about your past, your job, and your feelings within the first hour of meeting, you aren't being open. You're becoming a finished book. There is no reason for her to keep reading if you've already given away the ending. Silence is the tool that creates mystery, and mystery is the only thing that keeps a woman's mind occupied when you aren't around. You have to understand that wonder is the laboratory where attraction is born. If she doesn't know every single detail about your weekend or exactly what you're thinking at every moment, she is forced to use her imagination. She starts to play back your interactions in her head, trying to piece you together. That mental effort she's spending, that is the beginning of an emotional bond. Women don't want a man who acts like an open diary. They want a man who feels like a challenge, a presence that isn't fully readable. If you are constantly justifying your actions or explaining why you did this or that, you are essentially asking for permission to exist. Stop, talk less, and live more. Let your presence be felt through your actions rather than your explanations. Silence isn't about being distant or playing the quiet guy. It's about having the power to hold your energy and letting her discover you piece by piece at a pace you control. The investment trap: why being easy is a losing game. There is a fundamental psychological law that most men ignore. Humans do not value things that come for free. If you make everything effortless for a woman, she will inevitably lose interest. If you are the guy who provides instant text replies at 3 a.m., buys over the top gifts for no reason, and offers total compliance to her every whim, you are handing her a participation trophy. She didn't have to work for it, so her brain doesn't register it as valuable. By being the perfect guy who never says no and is always there to please, you are actually removing all the excitement from the dynamic. You've become a utility, like a light switch, reliable but ignored until she needs something. Desire is fueled by the pursuit, and if there is no pursuit because you've already surrendered, the fire goes out. Letting her work for your attention is not about being manipulative. It's about maintaining your standards and self respect. It means she has to earn a place in your life just as much as you earn a place in hers. Your attention should be your most valuable currency, and you should never spend it freely on someone who hasn't invested in you first. When a man lowers his boundaries or compromises his values just to keep a woman around, he might get her time, but he will never have her respect. And without respect, attraction cannot survive. High value men don't bend over backward to fit into a woman's world. They build a world that is so compelling, she wants to earn her way into it. When she has to emotionally and mentally invest in the relationship, when she has to wonder about you, plan for you, and respect your no, her brain begins to register you as a high value prize. Stop being the guy who makes it easy. Be the man who leads, sets the pace, and treats his attention like a limited resource. When she invests, she stays. Own your life first. The magnetic power of purpose. The single biggest mistake most men make is putting a woman at the center of their universe before they've even built a world worth living in. Your mission, your purpose, and your personal growth must always come first, long before her attention ever enters the equation. Too many guys make the fatal error of building their entire schedule, their moods, and their priorities around a woman they like, and then they are shocked when she suddenly loses interest and leaves. What they don't realize is that by making her the center of everything, they've essentially told her that their own life was empty and boring before she showed up. Women are not looking for a man they have to complete or a man who is sitting around waiting for instructions. They are instinctively drawn to men who are already thriving, already bold, and already deep into their own journey. When you have a life that is moving at a high velocity, you become a force of nature that people want to be near. You have to reach a point where your happiness is a closed loop that does not depend on her read receipt or her validation. If a late text or a canceled date can ruin your entire afternoon, you aren't owning your life. She is. Real independence means owning your hobbies, being obsessed with your career, and maintaining a solid brotherhood of men who keep you accountable. When you have these pillars in place, you create a world that is vibrant and self-sustaining. This isn't about being cold or ignoring her. It's about never losing yourself in the pursuit of someone else. You want to be the man who is so engaged with his own reality that her presence is a beautiful addition to your life, not the foundation of it. This shift in perspective is what creates a true magnetic pull. It signals that you are a man of high value who doesn't need anyone to save him from boredom or loneliness. The most attractive men you will ever meet aren't standing at the starting line waiting for a woman to tell them when to run. They are already halfway down the road, chasing their goals with everything they've got. This creates an irresistible sense of freedom and momentum. When a woman sees a man who is unapologetically himself and dedicated to his own path, she doesn't feel the need to fix him. She feels the urge to follow him. She wants to see where that road goes. She wants to be part of that energy and contribute to that mission. Independence isn't just about being alone. It's about being so secure in your own direction that you provide a sense of leadership and stability that most men lack. Stop pausing your life for a pretty face. Build your empire, chase your passions, and stay true to your purpose. When your life is full and your mission is clear, you don't have to chase women. They will fight for a seat at your table.